Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Welcome dear students to OP2. So in this video, I'm just trying to explain how to apply login, sign up, sign out functionalities using Firebase to Flutter chat application that we were working on during last 2 weeks before midterm exam. So yesterday we applied this one in lab with you. And of course, we applied some kind of animations also beside this one, but the animation already explained in the previous video. If you want, you can refer to the previous video. So in this one, we're going to focus on adding login and register. So if you click on login, register, it will take you to the chat screen if username or email and password are valid. In the beginning, let us go start taking the project. So this is like this is the project that we have for second week. I will just copy it. Going to file, new project from version control. Paste. I'll just call something to 1, 2, for example, just something does not exist. It will start now creating this one. Okay, this window. Okay, now I started opening the project. We can run the project, tested it before, like this important thing to be done. Before start working on any project, it's better to make sure there is nothing wrong if you are starting from scratch. So now I'm just going to use Android emulator for this today like video. So if we go to emulator and if we turn on the emulator from here, okay, let's open emulator, closing the device manager. Okay, it will start running after a few minutes. All right, let us run the application. Now, of course, just in this code only we applied what we learned in first week, like creating the UI elements, text fields, buttons. But still, for example, we applied navigation. If you remember, for example, if you go to main now, main.dot, you can see we created last week. You created this one also by yourself, routes for moving to for different screens, and you create this variables that we need for doing this navigation. And inside, for example, welcome screen, as you can see, if you user click on any button, we used last time in navigator.push name, and we give a name for that screen. According to which button they are clicking. If they click on login, we'll take them to the login screen. If they click on register, we will take them, for example, to the register screen and so on. By using push.net. Now it's working. As you can see, login is working. And of course, the registration should be working. Maybe it's just now the device is somehow slow. Run the application. Start on again. Check the welcome screen now. Navigation is there. So it means there's something wrong with the emulator here. It's not responding. Otherwise, the code is correct. If we go for register, it will take us to registration.id. Registration.id is just, for example, register screen. To take the registration screen. So the code is correct. But only we have problem with this emulator now. I might change the emulator if it's kept like this. Okay. I think it's stopped responding. As you can see, if you click anything, it doesn't work. So I'll just close the simulator. Open another one. Not waste time too much on this, fixing the emulator issue. We have closing the emulator. Okay, we want to stop it. Because not responding at all. Close it. Okay. Open another emulator now. Okay. Our focus for today, as you know, on Android. That's why I'm just using Android emulator. Unfortunately, it stopped working. Let us check it. Okay, now I think this one is working. Good. Login will take us now. Should be to the login, and if it is still not responding, still same issue we have with the emulator. It's not responding. Okay, I'll just stop for a while the video to fix it. So now, I guess I fixed the emulator. I'll just open, for example, settings for this emulator, wiping data to clean to delete all the applications, just to run it from beginning. Hopefully this time it's working. So now after starting working, just we can test the application. The navigation is working as you tested by yourself. Last time, let's start now. We can do the testing later while it starts. So now we have to think, for example, about how we can applying a Firebase. So let's just say Firebase. We need to get the package for this one. Of course, the first thing you have to go to your firebase.google.com. Then you log in. After login, you click on get started. After get started, you add a project for your application. I just said, for example, chatty app. Anything that you'd like. It's just a name. Continue. I'll turn off analytics. We don't need it from Google. And to start getting the application Firebase that will store your user information, your chat conversation for this application. It will be stored in this project. After it's finished, we can see now how to do these configurations. Now let us go and start looking for Firebase. What we call it was Firebase, for example, Flutter packages. You can see now we have, there is a website which is very useful. You can use always for this purpose. It was Firebase, not Google.com. Flutter now, or this one. Firebase Flutter packages. I just want to get the name. The name was Firebase. Just make it Flutter. Firebase packages. Firebase, this one. Yes, Flutter Fire, exactly this one. This one has all the packages. Instead of going to pub.dev, finding one by one of these, we have to see it like a package that we need in this project. So in this project, whenever you work on Firebase, usually there are many services in Firebase you can apply to your application, whether Android or iOS in Flutter. So now for our case, we will use the core library, and in any other cases, then whatever you need else extra, you will add. For example, in this lesson, we are going to use the core library just to connect our application with Firebase or Firebase, for example, account on database, and also to apply authentication for login and registration. Let us take now this first one. We'll take it inside our project. Because before of that, of course, we can test now our application. It should be working fine now for adding in purpose figure grammar the files. Of course, as you know, always we are going to add the libraries here. Now the application is running. It should be, hopefully it's working this time. After we fix the emulator, now login will take you to the login. If you go back now, register will take you to the register. If you click on register, it will take you to the chat. This is what we have, like what we did like last week. We fix all these navigation things. Now let us add the Firebase library. Okay, we add the Firebase, then we add also the core, then we need the other one for authentication. We go back, Firebase authentication, copy. Okay, done. Let us now propagate to download the packages inside our project so we can use them. After that, now it's time for going and after you add the packages, now it means you can access the functions, the classes, as you can see here of this Firebase. That packages now we have here Firebase authentication, we have Firebase core. All this we imported them and we finished. Now we can go start working on Firebase itself, configuration. Let's go to the file. It's done, the project that we created now. It's chat application. Let us say we want to add Android application as we did in the lecture. Then we go for authentication. After midterm, we go for storing a chat to conversation and using Cloud File Store. So we'll say I want to create the Android project now, application. So how we can go to get the, now it's asking you for the Flutter package name. Let us find it. It's inside the Android application, of course. It's inside the application. Then we'll build a Gradle file. You can find something called this one, application ID. Let's get it. Give it to the Firebase. Application name, it says this application name, it will be shown only to you as a developer here, to not show me to your user. If you want to say something, it's okay. My chat application. Okay, register. Then after registering the application, now it will give you a file, JSON file that you should put inside your project here, inside the application folder. So this file will be responsible for connecting your app with your Firebase database. Okay, so we'll download this file, put it inside the Android and inside the application folder. It's being downloaded now. It's done. Okay, let us take the file. Let's go to Android Studio. Let's go to this is the file, and where is the app? This is inside the application folder. Let's take it now. Refactor. Add. Done. Now we put the file, as you can see, this JSON file for responsible for connecting your app with your Firebase account. So this one is done. Let us now, after we make a propagate, we make this one. Let us run it again to make sure there is nothing wrong, whatever, so we can proceed. Now I guess it's running. I'll just stop again and run again just to make sure 100% there is nothing wrong at all. Now let's go with other steps while it's like checking. So next. Now it says go inside your project, the project, copy and paste these lines. So some of these lines you will find them already exist. Some of them are not exist. We copy and paste them. So inside the project, there's build.gradle, and inside the application folder, inside your Android, also there is build.gradle. So this one inside the project. By default, this one is exist. That one is exist. I will show it to you. Only inside dependencies, we have to put the class path. It says okay. Let me show it to you now. Now inside the application, it was saying inside the Android, we build the Gradle here. So inside dependencies, you have to paste this one. Then inside it was saying copy and paste also Google inside the build script and inside our project, which is already exist. So inside the build script, it's already exists. Inside our project exists. So I need to do this one. Let's go to the next one. This one already by default is exists inside. Okay, let's go close this file. And let me show. It says go to the application folder and open the build.gradle. Now the other one. Then go and paste these files. What is here regarding apply? It says copy this one, androidapplication.com. We have it already. Second one, we don't have it. As you can see, this one is already there. I need to copy it. Let us paste the other one here. Then what else? Also, it says inside dependencies, you have to import this file. Let's find the dependencies where there are dependencies. It's here. Enter. Okay. We add also this library here, Firebase library. Now again, it's running. There is no error. Close these files. And this is step almost done. For configurations, we finish. Continue to console. Great. After finishing this one, now we are doing what? Let us go to the authentication. Click on the authentication. We click on getting started. Then after that, it says what you want to use, which kind of authentication for application, email and password. Only we need the email and password. If you want to apply this one, also you have to get extra code for passwordless sign-in by using your email, sending message to your email, whatever. So I just use the default way, only by email and password. Okay, save. What we need for this project. Now it's done. As you can see, after we finish this one, you can see now users, which is now inside your application, which are, there is no any user for now. You can add by yourself, creating users here, email and password, and click on add user, or from your application, which will be due after a few minutes. Let us go and start working on this part now. So now, to work with Firebase, in the beginning, you have to import these files. Now importing what? Importing the Firebase core, Firebase core . This one already done. Then the other part now you have to consider is the main function. Regarding the main function here, we have to work on two things. The first thing is to the main function. Like, of course, we have many lines, so we have to delete this fat arrow. It's not going to be working anymore. If you have many lines of code, you can use that one only for one line. Now, we need to apply this one, this widget. It was widget flutter binding, and call this function ensure initialized. It will just ensure that the Firebase initialized in your project. Then also we need another function which is like from Firebase. It's called initialize application, just to initialize Firebase in your project. But now always be careful, like whenever you want to do some task which require time initializing the Firebase in your project, it will take usually this process a time. So it will be, we need async for this purpose, as we explained in the theory. And the process that we need to wait for it, we have to add a wait keyword, which is this line, Firebase initializing Firebase inside our application. This function is what? A future. So the future usually it will just return a future. It means it will take some time to be done or working. So we'll just make it await. Now what else that we have? Okay. We finished this one. Let us go and we'll start working, for example, on the registering users. Then we go for login. So when we open a registration, we have an email and password. So where is the registration now? It's inside the left folder, registration screen. Good. So let us start now. Variables. One variable for getting the email and another variable for getting the password. String email and string password. I'll just make it password, for example. Now, this email, we will just say it's telling you now email. This one is not initialized. Just make it, for example, late, just to tell like that. Later, I will get the value for email from user, just in a later time, and this will make it late. Of course, you can use question mark, and that's it. You can do it also without late. It's up to you how to handle this one. Again, now here, what we need now to create a variable to access the Firebase authentication. So to access the Firebase authentication, you can create, for example, this variable file. I just lecture notes authentication equal Firebase authentication, not dot instance for. There is something we press dot instance. I think it was dot instance. So this one, this variable or object that you create, it will allow you to access your users and check, for example, about creating new users, checking current users. So you have to create this object to be allowed to access your Firebase account. We created this variable, we created variables to get and receive this, whatever. Now let us fix the design issue. Now here text, when you start typing, text will be white by default. Let's just fix the text color. Where is text field? Okay, so style, text style. I'll just make, for example, a black, and color black for the text. Okay, I finish this one. Also for the password, I will make it also black. So it is not black, only black, colors of black. Okay, this one is done. That's also added for the password. But for password also we need something else. We need also make it secure. So I'll just make it secure, like hashes or stars instead of showing the text. So up secure, I'll just make it true to not show the text in password. Okay, run. Now after that, we start now getting the password and the user from whatever it is shown now. Okay, we can just fix it later. It's not a deal, big deal. So now this one for getting an email, let us take the email. So we'll just write the email equals. We'll get an email from where? Unchanged. Will give us to us this one value variable. Now we got the email here, we store it inside this variable. Let us get the password also inside the widget. Okay, this is for the password. As you can see, enter your password. So the password, it was pass equal value. Also, we get it from value. It means here text input from the keyboard, from user, or keyboard, whatever. Now, after that, what we need to do else? Let us just think. I forget something. I'm getting here error. It means I forget to make my main function. All it seems correct. I think there is nothing wrong. I'll just stop and run again. Just to see, I make the main function as async and we make all this correctly. There is nothing wrong with this code. Okay. Meanwhile, let us continue now working on registration issue. We're starting registering our users. So now we can go and make a registration. For registration, let us say I want to make, where is the code for whenever the user click on register? We want here on this time, we want to do what? Checking, creating a new user. Then after creating a new user, moving to the chat screen. Okay, so here after we click on register, we have to make these actions. So now we can start, for example, creating now a new user. Final new user equals. So to create a new user, what we are going, we need to access our variable that we created, for example. Of course, now this function now will become async because also to register your users or to create user accounts, it takes time, this process. So a new user will be what? In this case, for example, we need to access our object that we created, authentication object at the top. But we have a function which will allow you to access, which is a create user with email and password. So the email is the email and the password was pass. We make the variable name. Okay, to get the password, then we put a semicolon. Now this function that we can access by using the authentication object that we created here at the top inside our widget. This object will allow us to access the functions for checking, for creating username and password, for creating user account or login. We can use this variable always to do this kind of operations. It has the functions that we need. For example, creating this function, create a user with email and password. Just it needs from you what is the email, where you get the email, in which variable, and where you get the password. Give these variables and it will do it for you. Now, after that, also after creating this one, moving to, we have to do something now. After we create a user now account, we have to check, did the user, for example, enter something or not? If yes, we can just take them to the other screen. How we can do this one? After creating the user account here, we will press enter, a new line, and we will say if new user is not null, it means if new user account is created, the username and password was correct, for example, everything was fine, and there is a new user created, take them to the chatting application. Otherwise, it will not do anything, for example. Otherwise, we can just maybe get error message. So to get the error message in this case, you want to know What's wrong? Why the user couldn't access, for example? It's better now to do for all this code that we have now until if statement. It's better to put them inside the try and catch statement just to get the error message and read it if something wrong happens here in the console. So show context actions surround with try and catch. Okay, so now it will put your code inside try and catch, creating the user account, checking if the user is not null, if there's a user registering database, make them go to the other one. Something happens with the password, with the there is no username and password, whatever, like connection issue, it will just throw an error here. Just we don't want, we have to write the code, for example, printing this one, printing the exception or error message if something wrong happens. Now registration is done. Let us test it on our side. Go to the registration now. For example, I will say abcd@gmail.com. And the password is ABCDEF. Register. Now it will check, and if everything was fine, it will take them to the chatting screen. How do we know? We can go and check updating our users. Now you can see first user is registered and everything is fine with them. Now we can keep registering whatever number from here. You can register your users or from the application. It's up to you how to do the registration. Let us now say after registration also you want to apply, for example, sign out functionality in the chatting screen. Let us go to the chat screen. Then we go for login. Chat screen. So for chatting screen also we can do the same thing. We can create also this variable that we created in the beginning, which is Firebase Authentication. So this is chatting screen. Also let us create this variable. For example, final authentication variable, which is Firebase Authentication.instance. We created this one just to allow us to access, for example, to the functions that we need. Then after that, we can go and see where is now logout. The logout now just we will make it, for example, not push name. It will not go to the login. Just go, for example, to the logout. Just go back to the previous screen, because if you come from register, it will take you to register context, I guess. Then also we need, for example, here to apply a sign out process. We'll just use our variable authentication dot. I think we have sign out. Yes, we have sign out. Very good. So sign out will be done now. Then we'll take after that the users to where? To the other screen. Sometimes this process might take time. That's why we should make it async. And the authentication dot sign out might take also again time. So we'll need a wait keyword. It's better to write it in this way because it will take some time till fractions of seconds of a second. Okay, now we did also this one. Let us run it. Now it's coming back to the other screen and sign out is done successfully. Very good. Let us go to the login now process to finalize the application. So where is the login? Again, you want to access the functions for login, whatever, you have to create a variable from that class, Firebase Authentication, Firebase Authentication.instance for, not instance for, instance, Firebase Authentication dot. You can see we have instance and instance for. We need an instance to access this one. And again, when you want to go get also string, email, and string password, for example. Again, you can add a let keyword by yourself, or you can put a question mark to fix the error. It's up to you how to do it. Okay, now what else we should do? We should get them here. Okay, let us fix also color for the text field. We have to make the color. So we have to use the style, text style. We have to make the color. We can make it also black or any color that you would like to use. This is for username, because otherwise the color will be now, if you write, you can see nothing. It's only white. But after we fix adding this line, now it becomes black. Fixed. Done. Let's go and make it for the other line. Text field 1. Also make it black, and also it's a password again. Let us make it obscure, because now if you write your code, show it to you. Now if you start typing, you can see the letters. Let us make it obscure. True. So everything is like encrypted. Okay, very good. Let us go now and getting the values. So here we will say it's a password. So pass equals the value. And then here what we have else, the other one. As for the email, where is, okay, the input here, the email equals also value. Done. So after getting an email, getting a password, now it's time for what? It's time for writing the code for checking. So when we'll check after clicking on login. Now only we have a navigator.push name, which is we have to improve our code. Let us use try and catch. Always it's good practice. If you have you are afraid of getting errors or whatever, just to handle them, catching the exception or the error, then print that error. If something wrong happens, we will just get that error and see it here, for example. If the password, for example, is not correct, the email not correct, something else, we can take it. Now let's create a object for checking. For example, final user or current user, you can call it. It will be authentication dot sign in with email and password. This function is asking you, give me the email, give me the password. I will check them if they are correct or not. Are there any users with these credentials or not? What's wrong? The argument, okay. Okay, here you can put, of course, what do you call it? Exclamation mark, or you can just make them late in the beginning to not get these errors. To say, okay, I know, maybe it will be null. So now after getting now this one, after that, you have to check now. If the user again is not null, if it means if there is such user in our database, we will, at that time, we can allow this user to go and start chatting. As long as this existing user, let them start chatting, and that's it. So this is regarding what? Regarding the login functionality. So this is login is also done. I think that's it. Like this is what we have for this part. I mean, let us test it now. In okay, but now again, before that one, also we have to make our function async because it will take some time. And also there's a waiting for this process. For example, like, sign in, final user. Okay, await for that one, for this function to do its process, its job for checking. Now, if we go for login, we have already a user called, it was ABCD, I guess, and at gmail.com. If we forget the password, it'll tell you. Null check operator is null value, whatever. So it will not take you to where. I think you should get an error here. For example, password is not correct, whatever. If you just keep looking. But now the issue is let us write the correct password, ABCDEF. Login. The password is correct. Now it will take you to the chatting screen. So if it's not correct, it will take you to, for example, to somewhere like it will keep there and just show an error message here because we have a printing exception. I think that's it for today. Sorry for like taking a long time, but this is like to apply whatever you need for your project, for your any future projects you are going to work on. Wish you the best. Bye.